Welcome back. This is March 1st, 2016. Our guest in this segment is Bryan Gilbert. We're going to be talking about sewage treatment in Victoria. And Bryan, I have absolutely no idea of what's going on, so maybe you can fill us in on, because it's a very important moment in time. Big decisions are about to be made.
Big decisions have been made, and they're being made as we speak. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March 2nd, there will be an emergency meeting. And then by the time your audience starts to see this segment, on March 9th is when the major decisions are going to be made at the core area. And yes, it's a $1 billion decision. It's actually not getting complicated, but when you look at the long-term costs, it's a multiple $1 billion decision, and it's an environmental decision.
Now, I think one of your main things has been all along that it can be done for a lot less than multiple billions of dollars, and that's a very important point.
Right. As far as the right plan concept is a completely 100% tertiary, which is now standard. That's their base case. And smaller decentralized sites, basically build on top of the infrastructure like the outfalls we have, and save money, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's validated by a world leader in wastewater technology who mentioned, as we mentioned before, we call it the $250 million option. It is a viable option that's worth exploring. If they can do it, other vendors can do it.
So you're saying there is a $250 million option that would allow us to build multiple plants and get tertiary treatment, so a high level of treatment. Okay, so I guess my question is
why didn't that happen?
Yeah, why
okay. Well, things don't really flow in a nice, progressive, logical way, unfortunately, when it comes to multiple players at the table. And it also comes down to acceptance and understanding of that possible technology. It also comes down to the engineering people you hire to ask questions of, without any disrespect. But when you ask traditional secondary treatment wastewater engineers how to build this, you get answers that are secondary traditional wastewater engineering solutions. What does that mean? Secondary treatment, as I've mentioned before here, means you have to have a deep ocean outfall. And when you have to build a new deep ocean outfall, it makes sense to build it in a central location. When you clean the water up really clean, and it's safe to human contact, then you don't need to have a deep ocean outfall, and you can start to build your plants somewhere else. So being not used to that type of technology, that type of solution, we got the answer that we hired in some respects. And it's no real fault in some respects. You think about all of North America, they've had secondary treatment for decades now, so it's the standard. We have a clean slate. We don't have much. We have our treatment that works right now, but it's a clean slate. So we're in a unique situation. We need experts that think in terms of future innovation. That's who that we should be hiring, and that's who I hope we will get.
Well, actually, Vic Derman told me many times that was his hope from the very beginning of this process so many years ago. It's a very simple hope. Just let us see what's the best stuff out there that can be used, and then we can talk about it. And yet, time after time after time, those attempts were, I would say, blocked somehow. Just such a simple ask as, let's see what's available. And we seem to be in exactly that same position at this moment in time. You're saying there's better options out there.
And we should really come back to, Jack, you've got some great questions, and I think our time to really drill into what went wrong is another couple weeks out, or maybe months. Because really what the people of the region need to understand right now is what's happened in the last 2 weeks at the core area. And it's not an easy thing to follow. They've heard in the newspaper about this drive back to McLaughlin. McLaughlin's back on the table. Well, that was put forward by Oak Bay Mayor Niels Jensen with disrespect, honest disrespect to Esquimalt. Didn't even ask a simple question. Like, Esquimalt has rejected a single site, McLaughlin. That's clear. That went to the committee, and the first attempt was to actually block even having that vote. That failed. The tie vote, 8 in favor of continuing or not. Colin Plant led that revolt in a sense of, let's not even talk about it. It violates our charter. Anyways, I went through, and Colin Plant saw, well, if it's going ahead anyways, I want to build consensus. So he proposed, and it passed, 14-4, I think was the vote, a combination, new option set that didn't get into the papers, and people should pay attention. It was Macaulay or McLaughlin as a combination, and a site, Clover Point. In other words, east side, treat your own, and west side, treat your own. Yeah, fill in the blank. It makes not only perfect sense from being responsible for looking after our own, fill in the blank, but you cut out all those big pipes that they've been talking about building. That's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Now, when you say big pipes, the Rock Bay option, all of the Rock Bay options involve building a pipeline from Clover Point along Dallas Road to Cook, and then up Cook all the way to Bay Street.
Yep.
And then over to Rock Bay. Now
and back again.
And back again, right, too. So the impact on Cook Street, because I understand these pipes are going to be under everything else.
Horrible.
The impact on Cook Street is going, and Cook Street is very, very heavily traveled. So the impact on all the surrounding, for what? Why are they even considering? And people don't even know.
No, so if that stays on the table March 9th, I can see a real strong revolt from that whole area because they're not yet aware of it. But I don't think Rock Bay's got any real potential. It's too expensive. It's got that $250 million cost. And that's why the pushback to McLaughlin happened. But now, by making it actually an and Clover Point, you only have to do half the treatment at McLaughlin. Probably not even half, because the West Shore will be putting in their facility as well. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in savings here. And so even if the two plants cost a little bit more than one would have, the money saved is going to be well worth it.
So let's say that plan is followed. So what amount
Cross
of
your
money
fingers.
are you talking about?
Sorry, amount of money?
Yeah.
Well, as I said, the $250 million was one part. The land costs at Rock Bay were very high. There was also remediation costs at Rock Bay. And even if they went back to the Jensen's motion, the McLaughlin idea, that had hundreds of millions of dollars of building a tunnel, tearing up all of Dallas Road, all the archaeological sites you're going to hit, tearing up Clover Point still. You still have all the disruption there, and building tunnel under the inner harbor across an earthquake fault line to carry all the east side sewage. So I just ask you, what are they thinking? You just have the big one happen, that tunnel ruptures. Where's it going to go? Pretty picture? No, it's not. So the McLaughlin plan was always a bad plan for many reasons. That's just one of them. And that's why we blocked that as a single secondary treatment regional site. That's just one of many reasons.
What should people be thinking,
be
knowing, and looking for at this point in time?
They should be looking for their politicians to act sensible, think cost effective, think environmental beneficial, and ask the west side, where would you like to have your plant? Be respectful. I mean, gosh, it's not hard. And on the east side, let's look after our own. So Clover Point's a good site. There was a company called Napit. They came forward in December, January. $170 million. They could do all of the east side at Clover Point. The architectural drawings, you should see them. If someone writes to me with email, I'll gladly share the link. You can find it on the CRD too if you search. Beautiful. It looked, you couldn't even tell it was there. It was underground, and you had this playing field on top, just like you see it now. It would be so easy and so beautiful that you could actually get a washroom down there, or maybe a restaurant. Good stuff.
I actually asked somebody from the city of Victoria about that, or the CRD, and was told it's not even being considered.
They took the Napit proposal off because two secondary treatment experts, people used to traditional stuff, weren't used to the innovation. And they said the risk is too high. Well, I have to ask you, how expensive do they see that risk? Was it worth $250 million in conveyance costs? It couldn't be. So they didn't give us any cost estimate on the risk. And it's not their decision on risk assessment anyways. It's the decision makers that assess risk. The experts should say, here's the risk. Here's what we think it might be worth, what the risks are. you decide.
So is there any chance that that plant at
It
Clover
should come
Point
back.
is...
Absolutely. For consideration, yes. By innovative experts. You know, people that think outside the box.
But we're very close, and I mean, you said, how can people even be aware? You know, if I didn't get to talk to you and one or two other people every once, I'd have no idea what's going on. You just don't hear it.
It is complicated, and I want to just speak out to the people that are coming on and starting to help out. They think it's really complicated, and if you don't start, you know, just get started. You can reach out to me and ask questions. I'll gladly help anyone find the source of information. Give them some background that they can check out for themselves. But get started. Just follow along. It does take time and effort, but this is such an important decision for our region.
I live in Victoria. How are my city councillors who are on the CRD doing on this issue from your perspective of a progressive solution?
Well, if it goes to Cook Street and Rock Bay, you better get in touch with all your city councillors and really complain, because it impacts Victoria. It costs us $80 million, I think, the city, our Victoria City, $80 million in avoidable costs. So, so far, if they come back on March 9th and actually say, yes, let's really give a good look to Clover Point and something on the West Shore, good. If not, if they continue to be obstructionist on that, then we need to hold them to account on that. I'd like to see flexibility. I like to see them move in a positive direction. And maybe it's just as they learn and get the information from experts, they may adjust their position more. I've seen adjustment in position in Saanich Council members. I was surprised with that.
Bryan, we're out of time, so we're going to have to leave it there.
Sorry.
Thanks, everybody. I don't know. It's so big, so important, and who knows. Thanks for watching.